Jen, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I'm really excited to dive into this, but before we do, can you tell us a little bit about you and what you do?
Yeah, sure. My name's Jen Campbell. I am currently the PSPA president. I was elected or took office in July, and I work clinically as a PA in cardiology. I graduated from the Duquesne PA program in 2001, so I've been around for a few years and got more involved with PSPA. Through my time, my professional career, and was on the board of directors and then became president.
And you are not just practicing cardiology. Tell us about your leadership role and what you do in your day job.
Oh, sure. So I'm a PA supervisor at UPMC in central Pennsylvania. So I manage a team of 25 PAs and nurse practitioners in the cardiology department at um, 4 hospitals and a bunch of outpatient centers.
What percentage of your job is seeing patients and what percentage is managing all the other people who are seeing the patients?
About 80% clinical and about 20% administrative.
Welcome to The PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past, optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. I'm Tracy Bingaman, and I'm obsessed with redefining what success as a PA looks like and what it feels like. Here you'll find the mindset shifts, systems, and processes I use to escape healthcare burnout and integrate my work into my life. Work-life balance is a myth, and an integrated life where you thrive professionally, not a balancing act, is the goal here. My mission is to help you to grow into a unicorn PA who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and work-optional financial freedom. The PA is in.
So, today we're going to talk about advocacy and some of these proposed changes at the federal level. So, for those that don't know, I am in Pennsylvania. Jen is in Pennsylvania. We're both members of the Pennsylvania Society of PAs, and we have interacted a bunch because we both tend to go to these advocacy events that Pennsylvania is hosting. But this is a really important time when it comes to federal lawmaking, proposed changes to the Department of Education. Jen, can you walk us through what these proposed changes are and what they're sort of trying to do?
Sure. So a lot of these changes actually come out of House Resolution 1, the One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed, I believe, in November. And it's a large bill that covers a lot of different things, a lot of funding for the federal government, a lot of funding for insurances, and a lot of things that are impact PAs. But the one thing that we're here to talk about today is the funding for graduate education. And part of the bill limits the scope of what was previously defined as a professional program at the graduate level. They've eliminated a lot of professions that were previously recognized as professional programs. Redefining the professional programs, PAs are excluded from higher borrowing limits at the federal level. So now the student loan for grad school, by not being a professional program, is capped at $25,000 over your entire school uh, career. So we all know that grad school for PA school is a lot more than $25,000. Um, and so this will really limit the prospective student abilities to borrow money from the federal government to attend PA school.
Which to me, in a country where we have a shortage of healthcare clinicians, in a country where we can't get care to all of these patients who need us, it seems like we should be breaking down barriers for people to get into school and to be able to fund that school so that they can go out into the community and take care of their communities. And this seems to be directly at odds with, I'm not a politician, but right, that just seems like common sense. We shouldn't make it harder for people to achieve these degrees.
Right. I think that what this does, and I think it was unintentional. I don't think that it was really recognized, the fact that by changing the definition, it would exclude people who are, first generation college students or from rural areas, people that don't have access to private loans. Those are the ones that are really affected. I think we all know that PA school is very competitive. It's much more competitive than when I went to PA school, 20 plus years ago. And so there's plenty of applicants. And so it's going to limit the pool. People are going to be discouraged from applying if they don't have the resources or they don't have eligibility for private loans. And we know that private loans can um, be complicated as well. They can have a lot of um, some predatory practices. There can be issues with, lending and interest and collection. So, the federal program is important for a lot of people to be able to get to PA school.
I really want this episode to serve as a call to action to people. I think if you're on LinkedIn, if you're following me, if you listened to last week's episode, you now know that this is happening, right? But it's also happening pretty quickly, and there are some important deadlines coming up. So I will dive into some of those deadlines. But Jen, can you talk to us about what are some of the things that the average listener who doesn't go to PAs on the Hill, who doesn't feel like they are themselves an advocate, can do to advocate for those pre-PAs and those students coming up behind us?
Connected because I had written a letter to the editor in my role as PSPA president, to raise some awareness about this issue. And thankfully, it was picked up by Penn Live, which is our local newspaper here in Central PA, and the word spread. And now the federal government has a comment period open where you can go online and you can share your thoughts directly with your legislators. So that's a great place to start. And then in addition, you can make an appointment with your local representative or senator to ask them to change the definition. So I know that Dan Muser or Musser, I'm not sure, is a co-sponsor of one of the bills that was introduced recently called the Professional Student Degree Act. This was introduced by Mike Lawler of New York, and Representative Musser is a co-sponsor. And this is also another attempt for PAs to be added to the legal definition by law, so that if this change doesn't happen to the initial language, this is another avenue that we can get some support for increased funding.
Absolutely. And so I feel really strongly about this as someone who is super passionate about being a PA, about PA education, and also about PAs coming out and being as close to financially independent as they can and in a position where they can walk towards that. If we end up with PAs who either can't qualify for those private student loans, don't have a cosigner, don't have a parent who's willing to or able to do a parent plus loan, they're going to end up either just pushed to the side by someone who can pay, or in a situation where they're coming out with loans that are a huge burden to them and making them not able to maybe practice in the area or in the specialty that they desire, which is not good for clinicians, and it's also not good for patients. So this isn't just about the average practicing PA who's listening. This is about the good of the order, right? The community, the profession at large being able to take care of patients, which is why we all went into this.
Definitely agree, especially, underserved communities. So that there's prospective PAs that I mentor who are first generation students and are really excited about the profession. They're excited to, learn and become a PA so that they can go back to their community and make a difference. And those are the people that we really need to support and encourage and help them through the process. And I think by securing access to federal student loans, that's a really important thing that we as PAs can do to help the next generation.
And I really want to highlight the work that the AAPA is doing relative to this. So if you're an AAPA member, and even if you're not, you can go to the Advocacy Central. They have a whole page on federal student loans. I will link it in the show notes. It makes it really easy to do things like contact your senator, sign the petition, share your story, and tell how those student loans, how that access to those federal student loans specifically made it so that you could attend school, made it so that you could practice medicine and do some of the incredible things that you are doing in clinical practice. So if you have listened to this podcast for 1 episode or 100 episodes or 300 episodes, if you only ever take action on one thing, let it be this. Let it be taking action in a way that is going to be meaningful and hopefully create some change at that federal level, which could affect all PAs and healthcare across the country.
Absolutely. And I know it can be intimidating. We've done a lot of Hill visits. I know you're comfortable speaking to your legislators. But just remember that these are regular people. A legislator is somebody who just ran for office because they wanted to make a difference, and they're there to serve you. So you're their constituent. So you're technically, think of yourself as their boss. And you're the content expert. You're the PA. You understand how important student loans are. You understand how important access to care is, especially in underserved communities. So you're the one that can speak with authority to them, and you're able to educate them on why this is important. And they should be open to listening to you.
Yeah, it's so, so important. If you are looking for a script for what to say or how to find that contact information, I did cover all of that in last week's episode. It is a rapid response because I told everyone who listened that they have been voluntold that they are on the rapid response team for this and that we need people to take action and respond to these proposed changes to the Department of Education and that definition of what a professional degree entails and making sure that PAs are not excluded from that opportunity to be able to be eligible for this funding. Well, Jen, I think that we have definitely an episode in the future where we talk about advocacy at large and why that is so unbelievably important. If people want to follow along, they want to connect with you, if they're in Pennsylvania and they want to know more about the PSPA, where is a place that you hang out online where they can go and connect and learn more from you?
So I've been trying to increase my presence on LinkedIn. I had been a reluctant LinkedIn user for a very long time, but since I've become president and have been posting, I'm amazed at the reach there. So I'm happy to connect with people on LinkedIn. I'm not on every day, so give me a few days to respond, but I'm always happy to connect. And then through PSPA at pspa.net, they can always connect you as well. We have some information. PSPA at pspa.net is our general email where you can send any questions and they can certainly get the message to me as well. You can also follow the advocacy work of the PSPA on our LinkedIn, on our Instagram and Facebook pages, and as well as AAPA. They do a great job communicating to members and the public about what's important in our profession.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being so willing to give us your time and also for putting this together very quickly. I messaged you like what felt like 12 minutes ago, and suddenly we're here recording this episode. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here and happy to hopefully motivate some PAs to get to action.
Congratulations. You've just joined an awesome club. By listening to a full episode of The PA is In, you are officially on the Unicorn PA team. Welcome aboard. What most team members do is they subscribe to the podcast because that allows them to automatically get the latest episode of the show. The life of your dreams exists on the other side of taking action. Keep making small shifts and keep getting better. Your life will improve, your career will soar, and you will have the confidence you need to create your own success. I will see you in the next episode. This PA is out.